back to my YouTube channel, Auto Social UK. Now, if there's three things I love, it's a Jaguar, red leather and a V8. And lucky enough, today's car has all three of those. I've been lucky enough to be handed the keys to the new facelifted F-Type Jaguar, and this is the new V8 444 brake horsepower model, and I am so excited. And if you're wondering if I matched my outfit, of course I did. When it first appeared in 2013, the F-Type quickly showed itself to be a people pleaser, and it fastly became the perfect flagship sports car for Jaguar. Whichever version you chose, it gave a thrilling driving experience and was almost universally acclaimed as one of the best looking sports cars on sale. The car that I'm driving today is the first edition, and it's finished in this really nice black with contrasting red leather, my favourite combination. But you can actually get the Jaguar F-Type in all different combinations to suit pretty much every F-Type driver. Everything from classic British racing green to Sorrento yellow and most shades in between. In fact, the F-Type comes in 25 exterior paint colours. You can either choose to blend in or stand out. For 2021, the Jaguar F-Type actually got a face change, and that brought a lot of exterior changes, including things like the new redesigned front lights and front and rear bumpers. The 2021 facelift also brought some new alloy wheel options, and these ones on the first edition are some of my favourite. Finished in gloss black with again that contrasting red, which matches so well with the interior. I also love the way that the rears curve inwards compared to the front ones, giving it that aggressive sports car feel. My favourite view of the new F-Type has got to be the rear. These four quad tailpipes just look absolutely fantastic. And actually, this car isn't that impractical for a sports car. Inside the boot, you've got 509 litres in the coupe, and Jaguar will say, if you angle them properly, you can actually fit 2 sets of golf clubs in here. All heard the heartbreaking news that Jaguar Land Rover are actually planning to be fully electric by 2025. Now, I love an electric car, but even that makes me want to cry a little bit. But a good thing is that actually with the new F-Type, they've ditched the V6. I guess it's one last attempt to give us something special, and they've replaced it with a new V8. Beginning the engine lineup is a 2-litre, 4-cylinder, 300 PS turbocharged petrol, badged the P450, starting from £55,000. This V8 model will set you back a further £15,000 and drops the 0 to 60 time by 1 second, from 5.4 to 4.4. Topping out the lineup is the F-Type R, squeezing 575 PS out of the V8 and dropping the 0 to 60 time by a further 1 second to just 3.5. However, don't expect to get much change from £100,000. Interior changes on the F-Type are not quite as obvious as those on the outside, but it's just had a few little nips and tucks, including a new 10-inch widescreen infotainment system. Now, unfortunately, this isn't actually the latest infotainment system that Jaguar do, which is a bit of a shame. It's a little bit fiddly and not particularly intuitive, but the Apple and Android CarPlay does work very well, so it might be better to run it on that. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually come with the option of any wireless charging. So if you wanted to get some charge, unfortunately, you do have to plug it in via an old school cable. It remains very high quality and it feels super luxurious in here. You've got a lot of nice materials used, like the contrasting leather with the contrasting stitching. You've got, of course, a leather wrapped multifunctional steering wheel. I'm not really sure about this suede up here and across the headlining. I'm not particularly a fan of that, but it's far enough out the way that you're not actually going to feel it. I absolutely love the grab handle that they put in this car, and there's a lot of nice touches. Being the first edition, luckily it escapes any piano black. I mean, there's a real minimal amount of it just down here, but a lot of it is this kind of soft carbon fibre effect, which is much nicer. Also, one of my gripes with the F-Pace was the fact that actually once you got down low, there was some real plasticky feeling things like the cup holders. Whereas it's nice with the F-Type, this is what I wanted on the F-Pace, it's hidden by a little section, which means they're actually hidden away and you don't have to look at the horrible cup holders. It comes standard with leather and micro suede seats, a power adjustable steering column, a Meridian sound system and front and rear parking sensors. This first edition came standard with Mars Red Windsor leather performance seats, which in a car like this I think is an absolute must. So I've been ordered by Phil, the guys whose demo this is at Marshall Jaguar in Ipswich, that I have to have it in race mode and I have to have the exhaust open to get the real experience from this car. And, you know, I'm happy to oblige. So first of all, what I'm going to do is crack a window and I'm going to take off my mic so you guys can hear how good this car sounds. So good. All versions of the facelifted F-Type now only get an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And before any of you pipe up and say, ugh, a manual's a real driver's car, only people who can't drive automatics, well guess what? Maybe you should have bought one, because in 2019, Jaguar sold a whopping 9 manual F-Types. In all seriousness, that automatic gearbox is very, very good. Yes, okay, sometimes when you really need a quick burst of power, there is a slight delay on the gearbox, but this can be eliminated by using the paddles, which are much more responsive. If I did have to knock the Jag for anything, and believe me, it pains me to do so, it's that it's lacking in some equipment, including things like adaptive cruise control, which is a real biggie for me, and no option to have a head-up display. Now this is a bad thing because there's a lot of competitive cars which are cheaper, which come standard with these options. However, it does also have a plus side. Now, if you know what's going on in new cars at the moment, then you would have heard something about these electronic chips. Now, I'm going to try not to get too technical because, believe me, not even I fully understand what's going on. But basically, there's a shortage of electronic chips which go into different bits of specification, which means there's a lack of new cars being built. Well, the thing with the Jag is there isn't too much technology. Apart from the digital dashboard and things like the keys, there isn't a huge amount of specification on it. Paired with the fact that these are built in the UK, that means that lead times on the Jaguar F-Type, or any Jaguar really, are a lot better than a lot of other vehicles. So if you are looking to go for a new car and you're picking between which one's going to get there first, try the Jaguar, because you'll probably be surprised that lead times on this are going to be around March, maybe even sooner. And believe me, at the moment, that's pretty good. The F-Pace is heavier than a lot of its rivals like the Alpine 110 or the Cayman 718, and you do feel its weight on the road. When you're throwing it into corners, it does lack some of that feel through the steering wheel because of that body weight. However, it is still nimble and precise, just not quite as precise as those cars. All versions of the F-Type come standard with rear-wheel drive, apart from the very top spec R, and you can pay around £5,000 to get the all-wheel drive on this V8 P450 car. And that's very good for people like me, which aren't overly confident drivers and kind of want to have that extra confidence that the vehicle is going to get you out of trouble when it's wet. However, back in 2013, when the Jaguar F-Type launched, it was very leery in the wet, think TVR. But recently they've gotten a lot better, and the rear-wheel drive models, though they can have a lot of fun, they still do have that confidence in keeping you on the road. And for that reason, if you like a rear-wheel drive car, I don't really think it's worth the extra £5,000 to make it an all-wheel drive. And let's not forget, that also adds value and weight to an already quite hefty car. V8 powered models come with adaptive suspension, which improves the ride comfort while helping to counteract some body pitch and leaning corners. The setup still leaves the ride a little unsettled on scuffy surfaces, but it's a bit more supple, especially around town. Very few cars still sound so good straight out of the factory due to the emissions changes. However, the V8 F-Type still sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, I do have to note from trial and error that when you've got it in automatic, it does sometimes hang on to the gears just too long to get any nice sound out of it. But if you put it into manual, then you can get some really good results. So I've got my mic unplugged, I've got the windows down, and we're going to see if we can get some nice pops and bangs, maybe a few farts. It's all about personal preference, but there's just something I love so much about being behind the wheel of a Jaguar. I think it's just because it oozes class without being too show-offy, like if you had something like a V8 Mustang. This car is very good at blending in, or if you drop it into that sports mode with the exhaust open, it's also very good at standing out. And that's what I love about it. It's so diverse. It can be loved by so many people. I know people that are a lot older that have a Jaguar F-Type just because they want to enjoy the drive of a car. And then I have other younger people that love the Jaguar F-Type because they like showing off. It's just such a diverse and enjoyable car. Thank you so much for watching this video today. What do you think of the Jaguar F-Type? Are you in love with it as much as I am? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much to Marshall Jaguar in Ipswich for lending me the F-Type. I absolutely love it. And if you guys are in the market for a new car, make sure you head over to them because they'll get you the best possible deal and with some decent lead times. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.